Okay, so you finally figured out who you are in Christ. Now you're asking yourself, well, then why am I here? What's my purpose? And if that's where you're at today, this video is going to give you clarity. Let's get going. Welcome back to Conformed to Transformed. I am Brian Crouch, and hey, if you watched this video on identity the other day, then you're probably in one of two places right now. Either you're feeling really encouraged because you finally realize who you are, or you may be feeling a little stuck, realizing, okay, well, I know who I am now, but what do I do with that? Maybe it just complicated it in your brain. Maybe you just made it worse. Well, that's the question that we're here going to answer today. Why am I here? What's my purpose? That's what we're going to be talking about. Knowing your identity is definitely step one, but figuring out your purpose, oh man, that's where the real transformation actually really starts taking place. So if you've been searching for that God-given purpose, but you feel stuck, feeling like that you're running around in circles, then this message today, definitely for you. So stick around and listen to all of the points. And I encourage you to click that subscribe button below so you can be updated every time that we do new videos, doing 2 or 3 of these a week on this identity series. And then we're going to jump into another topic, but I would love to have you join us. Jump on the train. Okay, here's where most people get it wrong, myself included. They try to figure out their purpose before they figure out their identity. That never works. It never works. It's so frustrating too. And I mean, think about it. If you don't know who you are, how do you know what you're called to do? It's like trying to use something that you've never used before. Take me, for example. I have a terrible relationship with power tools. So if I got a new power tool and I tried to use this thing for something that it wasn't designed for, we're going to have problems. Like I'm using it for a reason that it wasn't designed for. You hear that? You hear that key word? Designed. Going back to Ephesians chapter number 2, verse number 10, we are his masterpiece. His masterpiece. He built us. He designed us. He painted us, stroked us one at a time, one by one. Now, I don't know if you just had a factory there. Don't know how we did that. I will ask him one of these days, but we are one of one, and we are specially designed, each and every single one of us. And we have a purpose. If we try to go do something that is not our purpose, it's going to be like, one of those round peg, square hole situations. It's just not going to work, and you're just going to frustrate yourself. But God, he intentionally designed you. You were crafted. You were built with a specific purpose in mind. So here's the order. First, you're his masterpiece. That's your identity. You belong to him. Then you're created for good works. That's your purpose. That's the rest of that verse. He made us a masterpiece so that we could do the good works that he made us to do. That's how that verse wraps up. So identity comes first, and then purpose is going to flow from that like a river. So if you're frustrated today because you can't figure out your purpose, ask yourself, did I skip step 1? I'm venturing to say you probably did. You can't fulfill a purpose that you weren't designed for. You can struggle your way. You can force your way into certain things and make yourself say, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing because it's something that you saw and you liked and it's just a flash in the pan or something like that. But if you weren't specifically designed for that purpose, you're going to eventually be miserable. No way around it. Once you know who you are in Christ, the why starts to make sense. And if you don't have a rock solid why, we're going to do another series on that. But if you don't have a rock solid why, you're not going to do the things that you need to do when times get tough. You're going to end up backing away and you're not going to be fulfilling that purpose that God called you to do. It can get confusing. It's simple, but it's not, right? So why do so many Christians feel lost when it comes to purpose? I've always wondered that. Why do we feel so lost whenever it comes to that? And I think that we believe a whole bunch of lies, and I picked out 3 to talk about today. So let's jump into those. Just 3 lies real quick. Lie number 1, my purpose has to be big for it to matter. That is such a falsehood. And in our brains, especially in this world today, we all want to be big. We want that big, huge platform. I do want a big platform, and I want that to preach the gospel, of course, but it is not necessarily my purpose. If God hooks me up with that, if that happens because of that, that is great, but that's not my purpose. We see pastors with mega churches. We see worship leaders on stages with 60,000 people in the stands. We see these missionaries in foreign countries. We see all these people doing crazy things, leading hundreds of thousands of people to the Lord. We hear all these legendary stories. And if we're not doing something crazy, massively, something that just impresses people, we assume that we're missing out on something. Guess what? God, the backwards kingdom, here we go again. That's not how he measures impact. I'm about to blow some minds here today, but God doesn't care about your platform. He cares about your faithfulness. I have to tell myself that all of the time. He doesn't care about your platform. He cares about you saying yes. He cares about you being obedient and following him. And that sounds like a fatherly thing, like do what I say when I say. But the thing is when you do what he says, when he says, he gives you the most abundant life that you could possibly imagine. It's all for your own good. Any of you with kids, how many times have you told your kids that? They're like, oh, whatever, that sounds terrible. But in your brain, you're like, no, seriously, that's for your own good. It's the same situation. Think about a woman that prays for her neighborhood every single morning. I know lots of prayer warriors. I know my mother-in-law specifically. She's part of some prayer groups. I guarantee you those ladies are making a humongous impact, and they don't have 5 million followers on TikTok. They don't have it. They don't need it. They're praying to the Lord. They're being faithful. They're showing up every single day. Nobody sees it. Nobody applauds it, but it's changing lives. It's making an eternal impact because these ladies are faithful. And those groups happen absolutely everywhere. You know, we don't need applause. Jesus never got, I'm sure Jesus got some applause. He had some humongous crowds, but by and large, he wasn't a liked guy by most people. He wasn't popular. You know, he didn't have the rock solid platform and like all the followers and the likes and the reposts and all that other stuff. He just obviously went to do what his father told him to do, his purpose. I've got another friend. He mentors teenagers. He's been involved in youth programs his whole life. Think about that as like a youth leader. Think about that guy that speaks life into one teenager, into one kid who otherwise thinks that life isn't worth living or going on or doesn't know his purpose or doesn't care. But think about that guy that touches the life of one teenager that goes on to touch the lives of many. Small things matter. Your purpose could be microscopic, but it's grandiose in the realm of the eternal. That's purpose. Your purpose doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. And whenever you find that, God gives you dominion over the kingdom. He gives you dominion over your thing. He's going to make you king of your thing or queen of your thing whenever you find that purpose and you're riding and you're obeying him and following his will. Stop comparing your calling to somebody else's highlight reel. That's not you. You weren't born to do that. You're spinning your wheels. You're wasting your time. You're a hamster on a wheel. God gave you your assignment for a reason. It's yours. All right, here's another lie. I need a sign. I'll know my purpose through some dramatic, grandiose moment. You're waiting for a burning bush. You're waiting for an audible voice of God. You're waiting for a lightning strike from heaven. And listen, I'm not saying that God can't do that. He absolutely can. But for most of us, myself included, purpose is revealed through a process, not some, 2-second microcosm of a blip of time. Now, did he deliver me from alcoholism overnight? Absolutely, but I was raw. I was so raw. I had to follow him in obedience every single day, and then the purpose started unfolding. About a week or two into my recovery, I already knew what I wanted to do and what I was called to do, and it was crystal clear to me, but I wasn't quite there yet. I mean, I was still drunk for a couple of months, quite honestly, and so it took a while. Even just a couple years later, my brain is still recovering. It takes 5 to 6 years for you to get back to be 100% normal. I'm going to be looking better every day, feeling better every day. My brain's going to start getting better. Long story short, it's not just a quick light bulb overnight. It takes time. There's a process to this, and that's when the beautiful purpose starts unfolding and becoming real in your life as well. Proverbs 19:21, I love this. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. In other words, you can make all the plans that you want. You can go do whatever that you want, but God's got a purpose. He's got a plan. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. So you might as well be involved because the blessings are unreal. And you might have 100 ideas about what your purpose could be, and that's okay. But as you walk with God and as you stay obedient, that purpose is just going to rise to the surface. He's going to start flinging doors open that you didn't even know existed. He's going to put people in your life. He's going to introduce you to just weird, random people that other people would say, oh, the universe is totally hooking you up. I mean, oh my gosh, such a coincidence. There are no coincidences. God has never spoken a void word in his entire existence, being of all eternity. What he says is going to happen will happen. He never says anything in vain. And so I just wanted to touch on that. I get fired up whenever I talk about that verse specifically. So stop waiting for the dramatic reveal. I know that we live in a culture where like drama is just awesome. It's so cool to see just dramatic things. It ain't going to be dramatic. It's not going to be super dramatic. Just start following him in obedience today, because clarity comes through movement and meditation. Movement and meditation. What does that mean? That means focusing on his word and just going. Massive action. My boy Tony Robbins, I love him. What's the key to everything? What do most people not do? Massive action. You figure out something, you go, go, go. And that's what you got to do with the will of God. You've got to want it. You've got to seek it. You got to go after it. And that purpose will be revealed in ways that will just blow your mind. Oh, here's another good lie, and I had to pick this one because this is what an entire ministry is based around. This is number 3, that my past disqualifies me from my purpose. Are you out of your mind? Maybe you've made mistakes too. Maybe you have a history that you're not proud of. Maybe you've messed up. And I know that I'm speaking directly to you because you're a human being past the age of 3. You've done something stupid. You've done things that you regret. You've done things that possibly have made an enormous impact in your life. Maybe you've walked away from God back in the day. Maybe you think there's no way that he can use me now. Maybe I'm too messed up. Maybe I just am too freaking drunk. Maybe I am too much of a failure. Maybe I'm a terrible father. Maybe I'm a terrible brother. Maybe I'm a terrible son. All of these, they just start climbing in on you like crazy. But I'm going to tell you this, your mess is your message. Your mess is your message. And I tell this to people all of the time. God uses broken people constantly. Look throughout the Bible. What are the most impactful, most powerful, most amazing stories that you hear? They're the most screwed up dudes. God doesn't just redeem you in spite of your past. He redeems you through your past. Oh, yeah, I like that. He redeems you through your past. Love that, love that, love that. I think about Moses. He was a murderer. He spent 40 years hiding in the desert, and then God used him to deliver an entire country. David, he was an adulterer. Had her husband killed, purposefully sent him to the front lines knowing that he was going to get his head chopped off to cover him having sex with his neighbor. Probably not a good thing, right? In the end, God used that towards the good his entire life, and he still used it towards the God. God used him. Talk about a purpose. King David, who doesn't know who King David is? Think about the Apostle Paul. Literally killed Christians, murdered them. We hear Christian terrorist, we hear that. Take it to another level. He was murdering them, y'all. He was cutting their heads off, like in their homes. He was rounding up Christians. He was arresting them, legit ending their lives. And he wrote almost all of the New Testament and turned around. Why did he have such a huge impact? I think it's because he screwed up that bad. And I think the bigger that you screw up, your story becomes more real. You can relate to more people. More people can be like, oh my God, that guy was a disaster. If he can come out of it, so can I. That's my hope. That's my message throughout this ministry. Your past doesn't qualify you. Your redemption is part of your story. Don't ever think that. That's just one of the biggest lies, is that you're underqualified, because we live in a world where we're surrounded with qualifications. There's something that you really want to go do, but you're not qualified to go do it. You don't have to be qualified for a flippin' thing to follow God. Nothing. You can be young, you can be old, you can be smart, you can be stupid, you can be gorgeous, you can be ugly, you can be all of these things. There are no qualifications, so get that out of your head. God's kingdom, backwards. So if the enemy's been whispering in your ear, if you keep hearing all of the time, you're not good enough, you screwed up, that is a lie straight from the absolute depths of however far down you can go from hell. Absolute lie. Squash it, get it out, switch it, get yourself a new habit, get that crap out of your head right now. God's specialty is using broken people for his message. That's what he does. Okay, let's calm down a little bit. Okay, so if those are the lies, then how do you actually find your purpose? Okay, so we figured out some lies, right? That's just a few of them. The devil's got a whole toolbox. But those are the biggest ones, I feel like. All right, so finding your purpose. Let's just quickly touch on 3 things. We're going to close up here. Number 1, what burdens you? What keeps you up at night? What bothers you? Is it injustice? Is it maybe there's need in the tech field out in the world as far as it pertains to ministry? Like, what keeps you up at night? Is it abused kids? Is it abused elderly people? Is it veterans? Is it first responders? I got a buddy who's got a first responder group. He's so passionate about it. So much fun to see. It's really cool. Shout out to Doug and his group. He does such a good job with that. That's his purpose. When you wake up in the morning, what excites you? What gets you going? There's an exercise I'm going to do in a different video that I think specifically will help you figure out what your life's purpose is just a little bit, and we'll get into that into another video. But what excites you? What drives you? What burdens you? What drives you crazy? Again, maybe it's kids in foster care. Maybe it's broken and addicted people that are trying to come out of that. Know that there's a better life and they want to find it. When they don't realize that God has a purpose for their life. You're looking at that. That's this ministry. That's exactly what we do here. That's my burden. That's what I'm obsessed with. Maybe it's young people walking away from the faith, like, I don't want to work in children's church. I don't want to work with youth. I just don't want to. I have nothing against it. It's just, it's not my calling. I would fail at it. I would get there, maybe excited about it for a week or two, but I'd be like, I'm bored. I'm bored. I got to move on. And when you find your purpose, you're not bored, ever. What you do throughout the day does not feel like work. It feels like your life's purpose. Okay, clue number 2. How about this? How about your gifts? What are you good at? Do you have something that you excel at? Do people come to you quite often like, hey, I need your help with X? Does that happen to you all of the time? Every single one of us, like, for example, you're watching this, there's something that you can do that I could never do. And there's stuff that I could do that you could never do. And on it goes. What are you good at? What do you excel at? And a lot of people, they dismiss their gifts because, like, let's say, for example, something that you're really, really good at, you just assume that everybody else is. That is wrong. There's stuff that may come perfectly natural to you that may come ridiculously hard for somebody else. So don't ever think that. Your gifts, they're special. And if you have these gifts and they're in you, they're supposed to be used for the will of God, for his purpose. So lean into that. What are your gifts? And the best one, clue number 3, your story. Your story. What's your story? Everybody has a story. I'm studying really hard now. I'm going back and looking at some Les Brown stuff that I love that I looked at over a decade ago. But it's really cool. And I think everybody should do this. You need to figure out how to tell your story. There's an art of storytelling, right? Like, tell me about you, not what you do. Remember in the last video, not what you do. Who are you? You know, you got to get good at telling your story. And we all have one. Everybody that says, oh, nothing's really happening, you know, my life's kind of fuddy-duddy. Wrong. Did Jesus save you? You got a story, okay? You just got to learn how to tell it. That's all. When somebody comes to you, and that is biblically sound, by the way, to be ready to give an answer for why you're so happy in your salvation if somebody is to ask you about it, especially non-believers, obviously, right? Your story is important. Maybe you've recovered from addiction. Maybe you've navigated grief. Maybe you've been through a divorce. Maybe you've healed a struggling marriage before. Maybe you put one of those back together. You have a story that can help somebody, I promise you. 2 Corinthians 1:4 says something about that, like, God comforts, how does it go? I'm sorry. God comforts us in our affliction so that way it builds us up to where we can go help somebody else that's having the same affliction. I 100% just butchered that, but you get the point. Our stories are meant to go help other people, to pay it forward. All right, and the last clue here, here's the 4th one, your open doors. I guarantee you that there are open doors all around you that you don't even realize because you're not looking for them. It goes back to the reticular activating system that I talked about. I'm going to do another video on that too. There's so many things that I want to talk about. The reticular activating system, what that is you're going to see throughout the day what you're focused on. If you just bought a red van the other day and you're going to drive to work today, you're going to see 1,000 red vans on the way to work. That's the reticular activating system working. What I'm saying is when you begin your day saying, God, show me open doors today, show me open doors, show me open doors, help me keep my eyes open for open doors. I don't know why it blows our mind, but it does. Guess what? He's going to show you some open doors. Maybe not necessarily that day or the next hour, but he's going to start laying the foundation and the plans as you start thinking about that, as you're changing your mindset. Romans 12:2, let's go. You're starting to look for those opportunities when before you're just living life, and if they pop up, obviously, then you see them. But when you're actively looking for God-ordained open doors, they're everywhere. What opportunities keep showing up for you? What conversations keep happening? What invitations keep coming that you may be just brushing off a little bit? Stop forcing doors to open that are closed. I love this saying. Pastor Andy used to say this all the time. I'm going to butcher this quote as well, but I can't remember exactly how it goes, but any door that God has shut, no man can open, but any door that God has opened, no man can shut, etc. Man, it's early to be getting this deep, I know, but still, you get the point. Seeing open doors are important because you need that clarity before you take that next step. Clarity is super important. Discernment. Oh my goodness, is that another video? Discernment, one of my favorite topics. Okay, so let's wrap this up and let's make it practical. What are your next steps? I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to write it down or put it on your phone or type it in your computer or whatever. And I just want you to just start jotting down, like, what are my burdens? What do I care about? Like, what makes me mad? What angers me? Is it injustice? Is it kids in foster care? Is it the fact that there's so many people that are broken and addicted and maybe not enough resources to help them out? Maybe you want to be a person that does help that out. Write that down. What are some doors that you think maybe God is opening? What are some doors that God might be closing? That one hurts sometimes. Get real with it though. Write all this down on a piece of paper. It doesn't become real until you write it down. It makes a connection with your subconscious mind whenever you write it down. It plants something in your brain that helps you think about it and be looking for it more and more. And just pray this throughout your day, like, God, where do my gifts and my burdens and my story, how do they all play into what I'm on earth to do for your kingdom? Because your purpose isn't just one of those things. It's all of those things overlapping. I hope that makes sense. And I want you to take one small action this weekend. This is Friday today. I want you to go into this weekend and I want you to take one action. Not 10. Don't overwhelm yourself. You're not going to do 10, but you can do one. Maybe it's reaching out to someone. Maybe it's signing up for a class. Maybe it's sending a text to somebody. Maybe it's just firing up a conversation with somebody at work. Maybe it's one thing that can help trigger that purpose to keep going, something that fires you up, something that makes you passionate. Make a Facebook page, make a YouTube channel, start up a TikTok account, start getting in there and start hanging out and being involved with more people that are passionate and concerned about what you are. And you can see it'll blow your mind. I bet you within a day, if you start signing up for some of these things you know that you're passionate about and you dive in, you're going to find a million things that you can do that'll glorify God, honor the kingdom, and move forward. Again, the key is you got to be looking for Him. That's the problem. And then I want you to watch for confirmation. Be looking for it because it's coming. So listen, I need you to hear this. You're not too far behind. You're not too late. You're not too broken. God's timing is perfect. If you're watching this right now, there is a reason that you are watching. This is a God-ordained moment for you. Every season, every struggle, every lesson has been part of the process. Your purpose isn't something you have to chase down. It's something that you find as you live out your life obeying God. Stop stressing. Stop comparing. Stop waiting for that perfect moment. Just take the next step. Trust that God is leading you to where you need to be going. All right, so if this helped you, do me a favor, drop a comment down below and make sure that you subscribe to us and keep coming back and getting more content. And I want you to put in the in the comments below, what have you felt called to do but you just haven't started yet? Is there something stirring in your head that you just haven't jumped on yet? Be vulnerable, put it out there. Who cares what other people think about you? It doesn't matter. The only person that you got to impress is God. Be open, be real, be vulnerable. That's where real growth starts taking place. So just share with us, put down in there. And if you haven't watched our first video about your identity in Christ, go back and watch. That was published 2-3 days ago, something like that. It's going to be a third one of these coming up this weekend. It's going to wrap up our identity series, and then we're going to be getting into another one. And I'll see you in that next video where we're actually going to be talking about how to walk out your purpose in real life. So we've talked about a couple of things. We've covered who we are, what do we do with that, how do we go after our purpose, and then we're going to take it to the next level on the next one. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hope that you have a blessed weekend, and I'll be seeing you again soon.